Excuse me, sir. Who is Susan Lucci?
Susan Lucci. No comment.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry?
Why don't you ask who is Jesus Christ?
Do you know who Christophe St. John is?
Why don't you ask who is Jesus Christ? I know who Christ is. Christ is a black man who's coming back to the earth to kick all the so-called white people in their teeth and take down America and put you in slavery and elevate and redeem his people, which are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians out of this hell called America, which is known in the Bible as Babylon the Great. Those are the questions that you need to be asking.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know who Susan Lucci is?
Refer your questions to him.
Excuse me, sir. Who is Susan Lucci?
You're disturbing me. Read on.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know who?
They call his name Esau. And they call his name Esau. So Esau was the first baby that came out from Isaac and Rebekah, the two last nations. All right?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who you are?
Yes, I do, sir.
Who are you?
I'm Christophe St. John.
According to the Bible, what nation do you belong to? What's your nation?
I belong to God's nation.
What nation is that? What's the name?
Everyone's the same. We're all universal.
Can you show me that in the Bible?
God loves everybody.
Well, show me where to say that. Now, he said that God loves everybody, right? Y'all heard him say that?
God loves every color.
Well,
God created every color. God created every color.
the Bible says...
I'm a mixed child. I'm black and white.
Okay, what was your father?
My father is black.
Okay, then you're an Israelite. Let's go into the Bible now, Romans 9:13, and let's see if God loves everybody.
Why do you hate white people?
We go into that. We go into that because...
I don't have time. I'm doing a special. Do you know what the Emmys are? I'm an actor from The Young and the Restless, and I'm here interviewing people on the street.
5 minutes, and we're going to show you why we hate white people. The reason why we hate white people, because God hates white people. We're going to read in the Bible.
But Esau!
Esau, the so-called white man. Your buddy over there with the camera. All the so-called white people are the children of Esau. When you trace our history beyond the Greco-Roman Empire, they're the Edomites. How does God feel of them? About Esau.
Have I hated?
God does what?
Have I hated?
That's where you find in the Bible, that God hates Esau. God don't love everybody. If you're supposed to love everybody, where was the love that the so-called white men showed to the Indians? You still haven't showed them no love today. Where's the love that you showed to the Negroes? I don't care if you're in Hollywood, they call you a nigger just the same way. Look at OJ.
Last night that the people out here in Puerto Rico have lost faith in the religious leaders. Can you expound on that?
Cancer. Like 30 years ago, right, over here in Puerto Rico,
Right.
if you talk back about pastors, they get furious, they get mad,
Right.
you know. Right now, 30 years later, the people is the one talking bad about the pastors.
Wow.
It's just unbelievable. I never thought that I was gonna experience this.
So do you think this is from like them seeing scandals or pastors doing dishonest things in church? Do you think that came from that, and them just seeing the fruits of the church?
Cancer, because let's see, one mistake, one in the blue moon, but every day for years.
I see.
You follow what I'm talking
And
about?
the people-
Every day for years. For years. Because this is for years. Till today.
To this day.
Yeah,
Still- they
till
still
this
feel-
day.
They still feel this way.
Yeah, they still did. So they even forced by the criminal action, the people being forced to wake up.
Right. I think that's also...
They had no
They have no choice, yeah. No choice.
Right, and there's a lot of people that is 50-50. Like, I was like, okay, I know Christianity is garbage. I don't know where to go.
Right.
But I knew after 25 years, I have to understand that I was wrong. That my mother and my father, they tried to walk me to the right path, but it was destruction, no change. Going to church on Sunday, getting high.
Right.
After church. Right?
Like a lot of us.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, going to church, you know, having women thrown away.
Like a lot of us.
Right. Like the pastor do.
Like the pastor do.
Yeah, they are our example.
Wow.
They are our example. They do it all the time.
That's heavy.
Right.
That's heavy.
So, you know, I have to understand, I get to the point like, like you chuck, you go like, wait, where am I going? This Christianity, garbage. Now I hit I.S.U.P.K. Puerto Rico with General YAHANNA.
That's right.
That's when the change in my
came.
life,
Like all of us.
you know. Now I'm changing. Now I'm not smoking weed. But when I was in the church, I was smoking weed.
According to God, the white man is the devil.
See, I've been in here for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? And I see niggas, they like to talk a lot. They like to claim leadership. They like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority. But they don't really need that authority. They don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white man. Need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. See, everybody ain't with all that peace talk. Everybody ain't with all that bygone be. Boy, ass need to stop and ask you to profit.
Black man, black woman, Latino man, Latino woman, Native man, Native woman, you have no idea how much you destroy your life when you walk away from the truth of the Lord. You lost your whole identity, don't even know who you are today. And you got the nerve to look at us like we strange. Like I always teach the brothers, if a white man came along and said, oh, you don't know? You black people are the doo-doo people. You should consider it because you don't know no damn well. We know, we won't consider it. Why? Because we know who we are and we declare our identity and we are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Let's do ourselves a favor. Let's all don't take no credit. Let's give credit to the one cat that went on the cross, died, dropped dead, and came up out the grave to give us another shot. Now, unless you did it too, then you ain't really pulled the game off. You know what I mean? I ain't never died for none of y'all. I ain't going no cross and die. I mean, I'd like to believe I'll go down for the get down. That's right. I've been in the game long enough that I feel very confident that I'll take that hot one for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling very confident. But I haven't done it, and the Lord haven't put me in a position to do it. But there's a brother that did. And guess what? By giving him all the glory, nobody got to be jealous of nobody.
Let's clap it up. Hey, Shalom, Israel. Let me just do one more check. Check this. Okay, we good to go. Look like the microphone is working. Hey, Shalom, Lord in Christ. I'm Priest Officer Tawaga Bar. This is the history. Well, apparently it's the law class too. I think it used to be the law class, but it's whatever we talking about. History, law, current events, particular topics. Shalom, Lord in Christ, Israel. I want to talk about Donald Trump a little bit. I was seeing the announcement he made today where he was talking about what's the girl name again I bought? Lakin. This Caucasian girl, she was a college student in Georgia. She was unalived by Israelite that was, I guess he was supposed to have been deported or whatnot. But they came, I guess it's a new law that they come in with. But in there, he said that she was hunted, and we're going to show you who's the real hunter. And I was like, Esau is stepping all the way into his blessing. By saying that, he's stepping right into who he is.
He said, we're going to show you who the real hunter. Something like that. That's what Donald Trump said today. If you could find the article where it's actually saying that. All right, let me know when you find something. You good? Yeah. Hey, shout out to Kyle Mosboff, Young Man Kev, Black Dazzle, I.S.U.P.K, Quadash, Sister Talaya, Shalom. Shalom to y'all. All right, we're gonna get it rocking and rolling once we get this article. Also, I'm gonna talk about the smart guy. That's the brother that he says a lot of solid things. I want to go over a video on some things he said. Talk about this New York State trooper that lied on black and brown men, that shot himself, and everybody they saluted him. He was in a wheelchair. They saluted him like he was a hero. Come to find out, he shot himself and blamed it on black and Hispanic men as the culprits. You haven't found none? Well, the what? All right, let's hear that. Let's hear that.
While signing a Lake and Riley Act, Trump says he'll send worse criminal aliens to Guantanamo. Washington President Donald
Guantanamo Bay is notorious. Guantanamo Bay is an island. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Guantanamo Bay is an island where it came out. That's where they was taking quote unquote terrorists. And it came out that the United States government was waterboarding and torturing and doing all kind of horrendous things with these Arabs. Had them taking pictures naked in sexual positions with one another. That came out. That's what they was doing to these prisoners. Once you're in there, I guess you don't have any rights. You don't have no access to lawyers or phone calls. The United States government, they was just doing a hell of a job of being the terrorists that they are, while claiming to fight terrorism. Go ahead.
Washington President Donald Trump on Wednesday signed the Lake and Riley Act into law.
Mm-hmm.
Federal authorities brought broader power to deport immigrants in the U.S. illegally who have been accused of crimes. He also announced at the ceremony that his administration plans to send the worst criminal aliens to a detention center in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The bipartisan act, the first piece of legislation approved during Trump's second term, was named for Riley, a 22-year-old Georgia nursing student who was slain last year by a Venezuelan man in the U.S. illegally. Mm-hmm. He was a light of warmth and kindness, Trump said during the ceremony.
Let's just say this. This was strategic because you can find any group, you can find a heinous crime done by any immigrant. I said it before, we have Armenian immigrants in here that are doing crime. We have Asian, Chinese, Japanese immigrants that are doing crime. We have African immigrants that are doing crime here in the U.S. You have Canadian immigrants in America that are doing crime. Specifically, you can find any example of a crime that was done by some immigrant and say, look, this should make us go harder on this particular group of people. But let's just make this press conference and show it to the world what happened. I'm sure there's so many stories we don't even know about. But as we say all the time is, with all these immigrants, why is it that America is only focused on black or brown, whether it be Haitians or it be El Salvadorians or Mexicans? It's a reason why. And God has been trying to show us for a long time that we are the ones that they put the microscope on. They put the target on us. You understand? Even though everybody is doing it, and you can find instances that everybody is running, criminal enterprises and, slaying people and doing all type of wickedness. But they point and they look at us as the problem to fix America. Keep reading.
Says she was a light of warmth and kindness, Trump said during a ceremony that included Riley's parents and sisters. It's a tremendous tribute to your daughter, which is taking place today. That's all I can say.
You could stop. Because I seen that part. He spoke how good she is and spoke about her family. I just want to get to the point that they're creating laws that are targeting black and brown people. Now, black people, there's a lot of black people that are applauding that the government is now, you know, ICE is moving in and raiding people and saying, well, it's not my issue because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris, or that don't have nothing to do with me. Eventually it will have something to do with you. Eventually it will, to show you how easy it is to make you public enemy number one. All you have to do is put a white supremacist in office. You know, all you got to do is put the person in office that is going to do the job, and overnight your people can become public enemy number one, where, you know, they're looking at you and wanting to raid your establishments and where you live in your homes and go to school and look for your children. So don't think that because the government is focused on Hispanic people right now that it will not turn back and look at you as black people, as though it won't affect you as black people. It will, because let's just say if they were actually able to complete the job that they say they're trying to do, let's just say they move all illegal people out, then who's the next scapegoat of all the problems of white America? Who will be the next scapegoat? It will be black people. Black people will be then they'll say we need to do in those neighborhoods what we did with ICE. We need to start just going into these neighborhoods in Los Angeles, in Chicago, and we need to round these people up and send them to Guantanamo Bay. It's a real possibility. So you got to just understand who you're dealing with. You're dealing with the devil that the Bible speaks of, and you are not safe in any shape or form as a black person thinking, well, because they're focused on them and because, you know, I'm a citizen, you know, I don't have to worry about anything. That's not smart to do. So what he also said, what he say? He said this. He said how the Israelite hunted, what's her name? Riley. We're going to show you who's the real hunter. If you could give me Esau. I mean, this is very fitting because, you know, I was going to go over Esau, some history of Esau. So give me, what is that? Genesis 25 and 21, somewhere around there between 21 and 24. Esau was a hunter. Mm-hmm. We went over this last week, right? We went over this. We went over Esau. Going to go over some more. Going to go into some history of Esau, get a little, maybe some prophecy. And then next week, I'll go over some of the prophecies. I'll go over the relationship between Esau and Jacob throughout history, and the some of the prophecies also of who Esau is. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter.
Esau was a cunning hunter. It's in their spirit to be a hunter. It's in their spirit to try, you know, to want to search out and kill something. It's in their spirit to do that. Now, if you could give me, what is it? Lamentations. What is it? 4 and 17. Lamentations 4 and 17. It's in Esau's spirit. It's in the white man's spirit to be a hunter, not just of, you know, wild game, but of people, of nations. Go ahead on.
The book of Lamentations,
yeah.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets.
They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. When you step outside as a black and Hispanic man, especially Hispanic people right now, your steps are being hunted. Your children are being hunted. They are on the prowl. They sitting outside right now in an unmarked car, trying to gather how many Hispanics they can get to take them to an ICE detention center. They hunt your steps the minute you driving in your neighborhood, you driving somewhere. There's hundreds of people that's passing by the police officer, and he's sitting there in his car looking. But you drive by in a Monte Carlo with about three Negroes in the back. You know what I'm saying? And they're pulling you over. They getting behind you. They racial profile you. They hunt your steps. You say, well, why you pull me over, officer? He said, well, you had a broken tail light. You go, look, my tail light ain't broken. Just give me your license and registration. Don't resist. They hunt your steps, man. That's what they do. Go ahead, young man Jeremiah. Right. Hey, get a brother a hand. In the movies, that's all they show you about Esau is that he is a hunter. He is a military man. He's Top Gun, Navy SEAL. You know, he's top flight security of the world. You know what I'm saying? It's no more on that, right? Yeah, so that's what I really wanted to bring out. It's not, I'm sure it wouldn't be in the article right now, but in the video, if you go and look at that press conference and you look at the video, you'll see exactly what I said. He said we're going to show you who's a hunter, and that is in line with who they are on a spiritual level. On a spiritual level, through the blessing that was given to Esau, they would be a hunter. They not only would be they wouldn't just be a man of the great outdoors. They would be a hunter, and whether it's hunting people or it's hunting down nations and other lands to steal and colonize. All right. So let me get this video. Now, this is another story I wanted to go over. I'm sure brothers and sisters have seen this brother before. I think Captain Zariak was in a podcast with him. They call him the smart guy.
Sitting back watching some person weaker than me. I wasn't a coward in prison, bro. I wasn't a coward in Sing Sing. I wasn't a coward in Comstock. I wasn't a coward in Attica. I wasn't a coward in Bear Hill. I wasn't a coward in Franklin. I wasn't a coward in South
places
Box.
you've been arrested?
I wasn't a coward in Green Box.
Right.
I wasn't a coward in the 4 building. I wasn't a coward in the Beacon. I'm telling you, bro, this is why I'm him for real. So what I look like being a coward when it comes to creating a revolution. See, we scared of the white man. We scared. Police can't come. Look, this is my man, Charlie, my man. This is my man. If I see Charlie getting beat up by police, Charlie, what you think I'm gonna do, Charlie? I'm jumping, ain't nothing to talk about. I'm jumping like it's, bro, I'm telling you, I'm taking a gun from the cop, breaking his jaw, and we gonna make the team Z, baby. We cowards. That's the problem. We cowards. We got all the energy for each other. I want to spin the block. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when it comes to the white man, you tuck your tail. When it comes, let me get this off, right? When it comes to the white man, we put our gun down. When it comes to police, we put our gun down. I kill a cop.
Now, the brothers in there was looking at him crazy, like, what are you talking about? But what some of the things the brother said was true, and we know this in the truth. We know that we are more likely to hate one another, hurt one another, go hard on one another, but we reserve that energy whenever it is another race, particularly the white man. That's true in itself, okay? But one thing I want people to understand is that, you get a lot of times where, brothers have this unguided energy. And this unguided energy says, like, I will, what he said, unalive a white man. If it's, now there's nothing wrong with defending yourself. But what you got to understand is, like, we have to be spiritual minded. We can't be carnal minded. You know what I mean? Like, if you could give me the book, give me it's in Genesis somewhere where Moses he killed the Egyptian. Give me that so we can understand more.
book of Exodus chapter 2, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. He spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew.
So Moses at a time when he was high up in esteem as an Egyptian, he went and he seen one of his people, one of his brothers being did wrong. He seen the white man with his foot on his neck. He seen one of his brothers running and getting shot in the back. Go ahead, read it from the top again.
The book of Exodus chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. He spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew.
Moses looked on their burdens. Moses looked on his people's burden. Like, it takes a wise and understanding man to have the eye of compassion and look on your people and not look at your people and hate them for their destruction and hate them for their dysfunction, but have compassion and see the things that are happening to them, on their burdens, on their oppression, and not fault them for reacting in a way that an oppressed person would act, or behaving in a way that a person from a dysfunctional home would act. That's why when we charge black people, we don't charge black people for the things they do that are bad, because we believe that wholeheartedly black people are just evil, wicked people to the core, and they actually know what they're doing. To a certain extent, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that are destroyed are also ignorant, and they're in that ignorance, they're destroyed by their oppressor. So many times you'll see something. You probably seen brothers do this all the time, generals, and you thinking in your head like, damn, they tripping. What are they doing? And then we'll charge the white man because of it, because we know the root cause of the problem. We understand the root cause of the problem. We understand, like, we wouldn't be in a situation. We make our own personal choices. We make our own personal choices of right and wrong, but living in poverty is not a personal choice. Not having the ability and being physically able to work and trying to find work, but you can't get work, is not a personal choice when you really want to work. You know what I'm saying? So we live in a system, in a world that we are born in iniquity. And if we don't have the truth, we are going to be a reflection of this society. So although we do charge our brothers and sisters for wickedness and evil, we also know that there is someone who is pulling the strings behind the scenes, or should I say right in your face. But Moses had compassion when he looked at this brother being, being abused by an Egyptian, which is a right thing. It's a righteous thing to feel how you feel. The thing is that when we feel this, most people, they hold the camera up and say, get off them, get off them. But there are some brothers and sisters that will actually get the police officer up off them, not caring what the consequences are, or what's going to happen after. But they're not going to allow you to do what you think you're going to do to their people in front of their face. This is what this brother is talking about. He gave a scenario, somebody in the room. If police do something to you, we'll grab the gun, and then we're going to be on TMZ. That's what he said. But there's more in that, because people, brothers and sisters, saying we need more people like that are not scared. Well, we had somebody that wasn't scared. Y'all remember Jam Master Jay? I can't remember that movement they had during George Floyd, but you remember the black militant brother. He had about 200 brothers, and they would walk around with assault rifles. And then one day, somebody actually shot themselves. And then next thing you know, you didn't hear nothing about it anymore. But it was supposed to be in defense and fighting for black people and all that. I'm going to get to the point what I'm making. The point is that our weapons of war are not carnal. But keep reading.
The book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. Verse 12. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. He said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? Verse 14. And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killedest the Egyptians?
So from that point on, Moses was afraid and he fled. But the point is that he did something that should be natural, is to stand up for your people, to stand up for the weak and the feeble. Stand up for your people. Don't stand there and pull out your phone, you know what I mean, and pull out your phone and record it. If I'm on the ground and the police officer has his knee on my neck, I would want you to help. I wouldn't want you to record it. Salaki, I would want you to hop in so we can beat the brakes off of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if ever it was a situation like that, I don't think I'll be in a situation like that, but you get the point. And so if you could give me vengeance is mine, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want people to get the wrong point. That's why I brought out Moses, because in that scenario, that's a righteous thing. In that scenario, you're gonna watch a police officer unalive your mom, unalive your brother, unalive your sister unjustly, and you're not gonna do anything? I mean, think about that. Really think about that, Israel. You got it? Let me hear it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 35. To me belongeth vengeance, and recompense their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand.
That's what I want. I want vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Let me help you out. I got you.
The Romans 12 and 19. So are you paraphrasing it?
Yeah.
Romans 12 and 19.
Yeah.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
Yeah, so we can't have the mind state that we are going to beat our oppressor with weapons and with ammunition, because let's be real, they make all the weapons and the ammunition. Once all the weapons and the ammunition run out, then what? There's been plenty of times in history that our people have taken vengeance into their own hands. And they might have won the battle, but they did not win the war. Nat Turner rings a bell. And Nat Turner was a pioneer. No one has done it before. You know what I mean? No one has done it afterwards in America. He rebelled and he gathered brothers, but they didn't get too far. You see, it's no question of whether or not we have the physical prowess or we have the ability physically, meaning carnally, to defeat our oppressor. The problem is the Lord with you? That's the problem. That will always be the problem. That will always be the common denominator. Is the Lord with you? If the Lord ain't with you, it don't matter what you're trying to do. You could be trying to jump 10-foot wall. Don't matter what you're trying to do, the Lord has to be with you. You know what I mean? And there's times in Israel's history where what's the time? Eh, when what was the time when they went out to battle and they lost the battle? And when they lost the battle, the priest was just destroyed. The priest was just like, man, they were in mourning because they didn't know why they lost the battle. They didn't understand why they lost the battle, right? And it came out that it was somebody that was, sinning amongst the congregation, someone that had stole something and they was holding on to it. And that's the reason why they was not winning this battle that from a carnal perspective, they should have won. Like from a carnal perspective, you look at the athleticism of black and brown men. You look at, the physical gifts that God have given us, and you'll say, we'll beat the brakes off of all of these oppressors. But if the Lord ain't with you, you know what I'm saying? You have no recourse. You cannot win without the Lord being on your side. So going back to what I'm saying is this, is like, if you want to be a revolutionary and you want to, come together with people and, gather all the ammunition and firearms you can and get real militant in order to combat white supremacy and police brutality, you're not going to win if the Lord ain't with you. And if the Lord ain't instructing us to do that in these scriptures, then you definitely are going to lose. You're going to take a L. And that brother, I know he used to be a DJ. Somebody tell me, what was the name of it? Because maybe somebody in the comments know. He used to be a DJ, and during the time of the protests of George Floyd, he made this militant group. And I think they had about 100 or 200 members, all black people. They would go to different places. They went to the Capitol. They would march they marched somewhere where it was really racist. They marched somewhere where it was damn near like a sundown town. But they would all have their firearms, all have their, assault rifles. And then it just came to no more. He just disappeared. You understand? Proving that it doesn't matter if you take that attitude. The spirit is right, but the reasoning of doing anything carnally is wrong. You need the Lord on your side to fight your oppressor. And everything don't have to be a physical battle. Like our people get upset, it was like, man, like Black Panthers is another one. Black Panthers said, we're going to learn the laws. We're going to carry firearms. And then we're going to combat these racist police in Oakland. But because they didn't have the truth and the knowledge of the scriptures and the Most High behind them, they got on drugs. They got infiltrated. And then the next thing you know, they are no more. So you need the truth. You need the Lord on your side in order to win any battle. It's just foolish for us to think that if you could give me our weapons of war are not carnal. It's foolish for us to, to be in that mind state. I know people are fed up. I know black and brown people are angry as hell. And you can be angry, just don't sin on it. But if you get in here in I.S.U.P.K, we can show you how to really fix the situation, because we cannot fix the situation of Donald Trump targeting, targeting Israelites with flat out just fighting them. We can't fix the situation of police brutality with flat out just trying to fight them, fire with fire. That's not going to work in our case. What you have to remember, and shout out to the 56th annual Passover that's going to be coming up this year. What you got to remember is that the Lord took us out of Egypt, delivered us out of the hands of the Egyptians, and we didn't even have to lift a finger. We didn't have to lift a finger. We just had this natural disaster with these fires. And let's just say, in a small microcosm, If this was a situation like that, we wouldn't have to lift a finger. These people were so destroyed because of their homes being burned and because of the fire burning in these rich neighborhoods all the way to the ocean, that they couldn't even think. They were in mourning for the home that they lost, not for the lives that they lost. They were in home they were in mourning for the possessions that they lost. The point I'm bringing is that there's nothing that they would be able to do. There were firemen that been firemen for 30, 40 years and said they had never seen nothing like that. They had never encountered fire like that was moving like that, because it was of the Lord. So my point is that you can't fight fire with fire being an Israelite, being in the truth. We have to come back to the law, statute, commandments, and we have to be righteous. We have to get off of drugs. We have to stop hurting one another. We got to stop selling drugs. We got to stop being wicked, evil bastards and people with no love for one another. And we got to turn and face the east and pray to the Most High. Then all of the things that we want to see happen to our oppressors will happen. And it'll be a situation where we thought that we had to get a whole bunch of guns and have a hangar full of rockets and all of that to fight them. And it'd just be like a natural disaster, just wipe them off the face of the earth, or a disease wipe them off the face of the earth. Go ahead, Abba.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
The weapon of our warfare are not carnal,
but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
Mighty through the Most High. We're pulling down strongholds. Like there's only so much you can do as a physical human being. There's only so much you can hope for in the physical. But if you serving the Most High, listen, our hope is strong. We know what's going to happen. We understand what is coming. Like Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. Do it. Put Donald Trump, please do it. Push it to a situation where the only thing that could happen is Christ coming down. You know what I'm saying? You could drop that. Now I want to go into this video with this New York State trooper who lied on brothers, on black and brown brothers.
Just months after he received a hero send-off from the hospital, former New York State Trooper Thomas Messia turned himself into authorities, accused of fabricating the shooting that had landed him there.
Shot fired, I'm hit. Westbound Southern State right before exit 17.
Last October, Messia radioing in that he had been shot while approaching a vehicle parked in the median of a Long Island highway. His fellow troopers temporarily shutting down the highway, searching for a suspect Messia described as black or Hispanic, according to police.
Tom's assailant remains at large and is an extremely dangerous person.
But police now say there was no assailant and that Messia staged the shooting scene to gain attention or sympathy for himself, according to charging documents. Placing .22 caliber shell casings on the ground hours earlier, then shooting himself at another location before returning to the highway to call in the fabricated attack.
The shooter that we were all looking for only existed in Messiah's head, in his imagination.
Why did you do it? The 5-year state police veteran resigned on Friday and has been charged with falsely reporting a crime, evidence tampering, and official misconduct.
After combing the scene of the alleged shooting for any shred of physical evidence, those searches all ended the same way. 9 shell casings, but no projectiles found at the scene. No tire marks. Not a single video that showed the Dodge Charger Messia claimed belonged to his shooter.
His parents, whose home was searched late last year, were also arrested, charged with criminal possession of a firearm. All of them pleaded not guilty and have been released as they await trial. The Messiah's attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman, telling NBC News, this case is a tragedy that was caused by unseen and untreated mental health issues, and now an entire family is suffering for it, as they usually do in such...
They never fail. It's a tragedy that was caused by mental health issues. Wow. Listen, they don't think about that when it's black and brown people. They're not considering anything when you do something as far as like, is something wrong with your mental health? It like what is going on with your family? Well, you know, how was your upbringing? But every time, whether it's this officer that faked being shot himself, he went and put the shells at the crime scene earlier, then went somewhere else, shot himself, then went back to the crime scene and said he got shot. And it was black and brown men that did it. And now they looking for some brothers. They looking for a black brother. You know, I'm glad no brothers. I don't know, but think about this. He done did this, and this is on that level of Karen niggertry. He done did this, and now they're looking for a brother, some unsuspecting brother that don't know what's going on, and he fit the description. Some Hispanic brother that don't know what's going on, he fit the description. This historically has been the white race against black people for a long time. This is nothing new. What he did is what white people been doing for the longest. White women been doing for the longest, saying a black man tried to do something to them. He tried to touch them. He bumped into them. Do I have to remind you about Emmett Till? Go ahead, Abba.
This is showing how far they will go to paint us as the bad person.
Right.
He went there earlier, placed the shells there, and then act like he got shot.
And that's mental illness. I think that took a lot of intellect and thought process to think about doing. This premeditated, right? That's premeditated.
If I made another thing, they were so quick to just believe him. Like they didn't investigate no time earlier until he like later.
Right.
Like they were so quick to believe like, oh, black or Hispanic.
Yeah, so quick to believe black or Hispanic. The sister said, if I may, that's Esau's go-to. Mental health. That's his go-to. And let me see. Let me just like what the brother said. Like, look at the beginning. This is after he got shot. They lined up saluting him like he a damn hero. Watch.
Just months after he received a hero send-off from the hospital, former New York State Trooper Thomas Messia turned.
Listen, he ain't nothing but a thug. He's a thug. He's a thug criminal. That's what he is. A straight. Let me see. Oh, he's a criminal, man. That's what he is. He's thuggish, ruggish, and Donald Trump needs to get him off the streets. That reminds me. Go ahead. You had your hand up first. If it was us, they're gonna hit us with the fullest extent of the law. They said he got like some probation or something. He's doing. He got charges that he'll be free. He'll probably be on probation for about 3 years, and then he can find a job somewhere else. He resigned, meaning he didn't even get fired. He resigned. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. And let me just say this too. That's another story that I forgot to bring out. And I'll probably bring it out on Black Authentic Truth. It is so funny. But one of those people that were at the June 6th riots, Donald Trump pardoned. I think it might have been the same day he got put over by a police officer and got in an altercation with the police officer. He had a firearm, and the police officer unalived him because he would not follow directions. And I said, what a waste of a pardon. Good job, officer. He should have complied. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You understand? But Donald Trump pardoned him, and I said he must have felt so emboldened. Like, Donald Trump pardoned me. I'm above the law. Can't nobody tell me what the hell to do. Not even the officer. Do you know Donald Trump pardoned me? I just got out today. Well, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Good riddance. That's what they said. That's what they be saying in the comments. The Kens and Karens of America. Good riddance. You should have abided by the law. You should have complied. He should have complied. Salaki. I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that so bad. I'm gonna say it again too on Black Authentic Truth. I'm gonna say good riddance, because they're gonna be angry. But this is the thing though. Young man said he a straight mark. Yeah, man, like you top flight police officer and you want attention. So it just shows you what they think. They say, well, okay, I can do this and I can put it on black and Hispanic men. I can, they're going to believe this story. They're going to believe this story because they're hardened criminals. Black and brown people shoot their people all the time. And they're going to believe it. Kind of find out the lady said the whole story was in his head. He made the whole story up. He got a hero salute and all of that. And this has been, like I said, going back, this is something they have been, you know what? Give me Ezekiel 35:5, man. This is something they've been doing for so long. They've been doing this for so long. This is as American as apple pie. Like, it's so many brothers that have lost their life because some white woman lied on them. It's so many cities that was burnt down by white people because somebody lied on them. Emmett Till was lied on and he lost his life over it. This is a part of the fabric of who they are. This is who they are. Like, literally, this is who they are. So you shouldn't be surprised just because it's law enforcement. They've been doing this for forever, making us the scapegoat to all of their dysfunction, all of their problems. A white woman go out, she's out on her boyfriend with another man, come back in and say she was raped by a black man. Excuse my language. I got to say, excuse my language. I can't say she was sexually assaulted by a black man. They go find a black man and hang him. I just did the story with the white woman that said she was in a home with an elderly white woman that told the story that she lied on a black boy when she was a kid because his sister's dresses were nicer than hers and said he touched her. They went and lynched the boy and burned down his family's house. And she's on her deathbed seeing a black boy standing in the corner of her room. This is American as American pie. Them lying on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But when I get into next week of the relationship of Esau and Jacob, we'll see why it has always been like that. It's not physical, it's a spiritual thing. Y'all don't probably remember this, but like what it was 6 years ago, 5 years ago, it was just out of the blue. You had this spike of Karens just on video asking people, do you live here? Are you supposed to be here? Or why are you smoking a cigarette here? Or why are you barbecuing here? Why are you selling water here? It was pandemonium as far as Karens just out of nowhere. And I said, you know what? This is the Lord trying to show black people who these people are. This is not just because black people are just, don't follow rules and they don't, do the right thing. No, this is because this is the relationship between Jacob and Esau. It's a spiritual relationship. Give me that, Ezekiel 35:5.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
They have had a perpetual hatred for black and Hispanic and Native Indian people. Their hatred is so deep, they can't even explain it. They don't understand because they are not spiritual. But we understand why it's there in the truth. In the I.S.U.P.K, we understand why it's there. Although we're still flesh and blood, and we still, can be carnal at times, we understand through this truth why they act the way they act. We get it. We know more about them than they know about themselves. They're doing all of these studies and everything about aggression and all that. No, it's a spiritual thing. The Most High made you this way. This is the relationship. This is a spiritual relationship between you and the seed of Jacob. And it is written. It has been written down in the scriptures and in the prophecies of the prophets. Okay, let's drop that. So I just wanted to go over that, which was crazy. Also, give me Proverbs 19:5. Proverbs 19:5. Go back to that story. Go ahead, young man Jeremiah.
One of the books said,
Exactly. That's in Ecclesiastes. The brother was paraphrasing, but what the Lord made crooked can't make straight. The Lord made them crooked. The Lord made them a people that there are people the way they are. And you can't fix them by being nice and being the best black token Negro that you want to be, and shucking and jiving and tap dancing for them and showing you and laughing at all their jokes. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's a brother. I've been waiting. I really want to, sometimes deep in my heart, I desire to just battle certain people. And Officer Tatum is one of them. Y'all don't probably know who he is, but he is a staunch Republican black man. And he said some of the most horrendous stuff taken up for the white race. And I didn't know his life. I assumed he was with a black woman. This weekend I seen a picture of his family, and lo and behold, he is with a Karen. And the Karen that don't even look that good. But I said, now I understand his angle. Now I understand black people like him, because these people will tap dance and sing and, flip for the white community against their people. And so it don't matter really how much you do that. This is the thing. Late at night, you in the wrong city, wrong place, you get put over. It won't matter if you Officer Tatum. It won't matter if you're LeBron James. You're going to get treated like a nigga. You're going to get treated like how they look at you. And sometimes I don't want nothing, because I can still, feel compassion for my people. I don't want nothing bad to happen to them. But I do be hoping sometimes, like, the Candace Owens of the world, the Officer Tatums of the world, they can get a taste of being a nigga and get put on their back and get some real racism and feel it in their chest so they can understand. You know what I mean? But that's just me. That's just me. I don't wish no harm to nobody. What I asked for?
Proverbs 19 and 5.
Let me hear it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
A false witness shall not be unpunished. He that speaketh lies shall not escape.
Yeah, you a false witness. You want to stand there and lie like that? That is horrible, man. Like, think about the brothers think about the lives that were put in jeopardy by him saying it was a black man. It was black and Hispanic man. Bruh, just imagine what they do to somebody they catch that they know done did wrong to their own. Someone that done shot a cop, you'll be lucky to make it back alive if they catch you. Even if you gave up, you might be able to come back with your head this big, because they're gonna beat the hell out of you. They're gonna beat the hell out of you. Your family is not gonna recognize you. So my thing is, now his antics done put an innocent black or brown man life in jeopardy. There's a black and brown man's life that was in jeopardy right now. I mean, at that point where they're on a patrol looking for him, armed and dangerous, like the Terminator. Turns out it was nobody. He made the story up. Read it from the top again.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 5.
Uh-huh.
A false witness shall not be unpunished.
Mm-hmm.
And he that speaketh lies shall not escape.
He that speaketh lies shall not escape. And that goes for black and brown people too, because you're God's chosen people. You're the Israelites. Don't tell no lie on nobody. Don't stand trial and just lie on somebody. Don't do something and say that it was somebody else. You're not going. You may think that you swift and you're going to get away, or you really smart. You done concocted a good plan, but you can't get away from the Most High. You God's chosen people, so you're going to be punished. You're going to be punished. You're going to get caught up. It's going to come back. The truth is going to come out on how you lied or how you actually did the crime, and try to put it off like, oh yeah, it was two Mexican brothers that hit me across the head and they took off. Don't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? That let that be a lesson. Let's look at these people and say, okay, let them be a lesson for us on how not to act. Let him, the police officer, what he did, let that be a lesson. Let how Karens are. There's another story with a Karen. It's a brother. I'm sure some of y'all seen this story. It's a brother that lives in the neighborhood. It's a white woman taking a walk with her kids at, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock. It's dark. He rolls up to his house. He's rolling slow up the street, looking at what you call it, decorations, Christmas decorations. This just happened in 2024. He's rolling slow because he's looking at decorations. He rolls into his driveway. She walks into his driveway, scared of him, thinking he's up to something. He's in his own driveway, like, do you need something? She like, do you live here? He like, yeah. And she walks and runs around the building with her kids screaming, help, help. And the brother like, what the hell? Like, she didn't believe he lived there. But the point is that the things that they do can get you killed. The things that they say can actually get you killed. Now, he said he feared for his life when he heard her screaming help. You already know what that is. A white woman screaming help in a good neighborhood. Then the brother said he lived in this good neighborhood. Don't nothing like the stuff she thought was going on go on in that neighborhood. So why would she think that he's like some intruder? He told her he lived there. But just don't think about none of that. Think about the fact that this is spiritual. The interactions between us and them are spiritual interactions that the Lord be trying to open our eyes and see. He be trying to open our eyes and see, like, look, this is not normal. You was about to get unalive, Negro. It was absolutely no reason for her to do what she did. It was no reason for him to say what he said. He could have just said some white man did it. That police officer, he could have said some white man did it. Or he could have said, I don't know who did it. The assailant had on all black. I couldn't see his face. He could have did it in a way where nobody is the suspect. Anybody could be the suspect. But he said black and brown. That's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Young man Kev, he said, if I may, he needs to do all of his community service at a girls and boys club in every, for real. For real. We offer that. Let's drop that. Let's get talk about Esau. We're gonna talk about Esau. Let me see. Where we left off. We left off on troglodytes. We left off on Esau, where he intermarried at. He intermarried with the Hivites, which is the Horites, which were troglodytes, which were cave dwellers, Geico, cavemen. You know what I'm saying? Another point I want to make about that is that through your life, have you ever seen black or brown men depicted as cavemen? That just shows you that they know to a certain extent what their heritage is, because they only depict white people as cavemen. They don't depict black people as the cavemen. Let's get wait 1 second. Let me see. Go ahead.
You know that picture that they had when they went from like monkey to
The evolution? Yeah.
Never a black man. There's always a corporate white.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's a good point about. Y'all seen that? The evolution chart where they had a monkey going from, having a bent back to walking straight to a human. This is the thing about evolution, which is not true. Because with evolution, they say that the earth been around for millions of years. If like when something evolves, say like they say that an animal that once was on land started to be in the water, and over time it evolved to no longer having feet, but having fins. So now today it's a whale. But back then it was an animal that walked on. That's what they call evolution. Like something, it evolves into something over these millions of years. If people evolved from apes, then why are apes still here? Like over these millions of years of evolution, the ape would have eventually lost hair, back would have straightened up, legs would have got longer. Now it becomes a walking human over millions of years. But today we have humans and we still have apes. Not just apes, we have all type of primates. We got gorillas, we got chimpanzees, orangutans, little monkeys. Why did they stay the same? Evolution makes no goddamn sense. You understand? Evolution makes no goddamn sense. Let me see. So I guess we're gonna get some history, right? So let's get 1 Samuel's 14 and 47. Yes.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 14, verse 47.
Mhm.
So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom, and against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines, and whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. Verse 48, and he gathered an host, and smote the Amalekites, and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Verse 49.
You can stop that. But and right here, Saul, he conquered not just the Edomites, but he conquered Amalek and who else?
Against the children of Moab, and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom, and against the kings of Zobah.
So it wasn't just the Edomites, it was other nations, the Ammonites, all of them, right? So let's skip that. Let's get to 1 Chronicles 18 and 11. So he conquered King Saul did this. He conquered Ammon, the Moabites, the Edomites, and Amalek. And this is these are nations that's living in the land, that's living around the Israelites. You ready? I called 1 Chronicles 18 and 11.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 18, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Them also King David dedicated unto the Lord with the silver and the gold that he brought from all these nations, from Edom and Moab, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, and Amalek.
So King David, he dedicated all of the treasures to the Lord that he took from these nations. Go ahead.
Verse 12, moreover, Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, slew of the Edomites in the valley of Salt 18,000.
So Abishai, he slew 18,000 Edomites. Go ahead.
He put garrisons in Edom, and all that Edomites became David's servants.
And
thus,
Salaki, I don't mean to stop you. Go ahead.
thus the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went.
So Abishai, and I'm assuming that Abishai was a commander under King David. He went and slew 18,000 Edomites. Then he put garrisons in Edom, and the Edomites became a tributary to the Israelites, meaning they paid tribute, meaning they paid a tax with the things from their land and all of that. That was it, right? That was 14 you ended on?
Oh, 13.
Go 14.
Verse 14. So David reigned over all Israel
Mm-hmm.
and executed judgment and justice among all his people.
So King David was a cold king, man. He reigned over all Israel. Let's get 2 Kings 8 and 20. We'll get some history about the Edomites. Like I said, it's not enough time to do it all in one. So like this is part 2. I'll do a part 3 where I'll go into some more history, the relationship between Edomites, the Esau and Jacob, and also more prophecy on who Esau is. Because you got some people some wackos, some fake Israelites that say Esau is the Arabs. And then you have Christians that say that Esau was that nation became extinct. It's no longer. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 8, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
In his days, Edom revolted from under the hands of Judah and made a king over themselves. So Joram went over to Zaire and all the chariots with him, and he rose by night and smote the Edomites which compassed him about, and the captains of the chariots and the people fled into their tents.
That was 22.
No, that was in the 22.
Let me hear 22.
Verse 22. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. Then Libnah revolted at the same time.
So Edom revolted from the hand of Judah. In Genesis, during the blessing, Isaac tells Esau that when he get the yoke up off his neck, let's get that. Let me get that precept. What is that? When he has dominion, he will. This is the precept to what we just read. Get Genesis 27 and 40. It's the precept to Genesis. The precept to what we just read, 2 Kings 8 and 20, is Genesis 27 and 40.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
And by thy sword shalt thou live,
Mm-hmm.
and shalt serve thy brother. Then it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion.
He shall what?
And it shall come to pass when
No. When he shall serve what?
And thou shalt serve thy brother.
He shall serve his brother. You see, the Edomites were serving the Israelites when King David and who else? What King Saul, King David destroyed them and ruled over them. They was paying tribute. Thou shalt serve thy brother. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
When thou shalt have the dominion, let's get the definition of dominion so people can understand. Dominion, sovereignty or control, the territory of a sovereign or government. And I think I should have probably got it to Webster's because I just went off of Google. We always want to just use, because AI just takes from everywhere. Let me get this. Dominion. Supreme authority, sovereignty. I'm sorry, the word dominion, Webster's dictionary. Supreme authority, sovereignty, a territory over which such authority is exercised. Read that part again.
And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion.
When thou shalt have when thou shalt have the sovereignty, go ahead.
That thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
You shall break his yoke from off thy neck. And let's go back to 2 Kings. What is it? 8 and 22. 2 Kings, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8 and 22.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 8, verse 22.
Excuse me.
Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day.
Mm.
Then Libnah revolted at the same time.
So Edom revolted until this day, right? So that's your precept for Genesis 27 and 40 is 2 Kings 8 and 22, where Edom revolted and got the yoke up off thy neck. They became sovereign from up under the hand, up under the tribute of the Israelites from Judah. Now let's get for time's sake, let me get, what is that? Maccabees 1 and 8. Alexander the Greek. And then we'll get Maccabees 5 and 1. I'm just going to give y'all a rundown on history of the Edomites during these times, during the times of the Greeks, during the times of the Romans, and how it extends into America. You see, the crazy thing is like Esau, the so-called white man, he searches out everything. He has his hands on everything, and he's museums and art and artifacts, and he knows everything about everybody except himself. except who he is. Know thyself, colonizer. Know thyself. Go ahead, Art.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip,
Mhm.
the Macedonian who came out of the land of Shittim,
Mhm.
had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians, and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
The first over Greece. Alexander was the first ruler over Greece. His father was Philip the second of Macedonia. Philip was an Edomite. History says Philip was an Edomite. I can break it down in the Bible and show you that the Macedonians were Edomites, but for time's sake, we'll do that at another time. Alexander's mother is said to have been Melanos, meaning she was black. The word Melanos is the origin word for the word melanin. She was a Greek. His mother was a Greek. His father was a Macedonian or an Edomite. He was what you call today what the world calls a mixed person or a mulatto. That was Alexander the Great. Okay. This is how the Edomite line started rule in Greece. Okay. This line basically went through Greece and then through Rome. If you could give me First Maccabees 5, 1 through 3.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 5, verse 1. Now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Verse 2. Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Jacob that was among them. Thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people. Verse 3. Then Judas fought against the children of Esau and Idumea and Arbatan, because they besieged Gael, and he have them a great overthrow. And he gave them a great overthrow, and abated their courage and took their spoils.
Abated their courage.
Abated their courage and took their spoils.
So Judas Maccabees defeated Edomites during this time. Now, in the history, Edomites were spreading in different offshoots throughout Greece, Rome, throughout Syria. The Edomites were everywhere. Okay. Now, Judas Maccabees' nephew, John Hyrcanus, he basically forced the Edomites. He defeated them also. This is John Hyrcanus is the Hasmonean dynasty after the Maccabees. He defeated the Edomites and he made them follow the ways of the Jews. This is recorded in history. Okay. It was recorded with Josephus. It's recorded. It's well known. Okay. And so they converted to following the ways of Israelites. And so even then you had converts back in those times. And we're talking about 134 BC. We're talking about, 130 years before Christ's birth. You had Edomites that had converted to following. So don't think that the people in Israel, the Ashkenazi or the Amalekites are just the only converts. You had Edomites from different, they're all the same people to us, but you had Edomites that converted also. King Herod was an Edomite. King Herod, now the Hasmonean dynasty, it had Edomites in it that had gained power and were friends with Judeans. And that's how King Herod came to be, those relationships. That's how King Herod became King Herod, an Edomite ruling over the Israelites, over Jews. King Herod in the Bible that you know. Also, let me see. I can go into, there's a lot of things I can go into. But when King Herod is in power, we're talking about the time of Christ. Now we're talking about the Greco-Roman Empire. We went from Greece with the Maccabees to King Herod being put in place, an Edomite being put in place over God's chosen people. And so the Roman, and there's a book you can get called, what is it called? Rome, the Empire of the Edomites. It goes into the history of the Latins. Also, I'm gonna bring up some history of the some recent history, but it goes into the Latins being Edomites, the Sabines being Edomites, marrying intermarriage with Romans and Greeks. And so this is how the Edomite line was able to come from the Near East, from the lands of Israel into the lands of the Greek Isles, into the Roman lands. And most scholars look at Rome as being an Edomite empire. It's biblical also. So let's get Daniel's 2:40. There's another book Captain Katazar put me on. It's called The Chosen People of the Caucasus. It's on page 140. It talks about Edomites being the hairy ones, Neanderthal-like. Go ahead.
I mean, this kind of what's it called? It kind of sends it back to the fake Jews talking about anti-Semitism, Shemitic.
Yeah.
So Esau would technically be Shem, right? Like
Esau technically would be a Shemite, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't matter about Shem, Ham, and Japheth. It's the 12 tribes, right? So it's like I'm just.
No.
This is where my mind is at.
Just slow it down. Just break it down to me. What you're saying?
So blacks are like Israelites and Edomites or Esau. We're not that far apart. We're more closer than we are to other nations, right?
Yes. So
to us being from Shem.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're more black and white people are more close from our heritage, closer, using our heritage than a Hamite, an African, or a Japhite, like a Hawaiian person or a Samoan person. But over the years, and we remember we read this last week with the history of where Esau has had a hatred since the time of the blessing. And he has done things in between. So what we did not talk about is the fact that in 567 BC, when the Babylonians came and took Judah, the Edomites helped them. Also, when the Romans came and destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD, that we read about all the time out of Babylon from Timbuktu, the Edomites were helping also, razing it to the ground, destroying it to the ground. What is it, Psalm 137, when King David says, remember Edom, in that day when they said raze it to the ground, destroy it to the ground. Edom is spoken about, or Idumea, specifically by the prophets, like a lot for what they did to God's chosen people. So with all this time, and you get to Obadiah says what it says. I'm paraphrasing. It says, it calls us brothers, but for the shame, but for the violence you have committed against your brother, shame shall cover you. Meaning we were a people, but we were supposed to be like that. But all these years of them doing evil things to us, even God says, you're no longer their brother. You have a judgment coming. Your judgment is coming. And then when we get to Romans, the Most High is saying, for Jacob I have love. We get to Malachi, he's saying, Jacob I have loved, Esau I have hated. Romans is just quoting Malachi. But so it changed from like all of the evil they've done to us, it turns into, you know what, you got judgment coming. I don't even want you to fill the face of the earth with cities anymore after this. So just I hope that answered your question. But so the Roman Empire was considered by Jewish scholars, the Roman Empire is considered Idumea. By biblical scholars, the Roman Empire was considered Idumea. Idumea is the Greek word for the Edomites. So they don't get lost in history, or how should I say, they don't get lost in prophecy because, some scholars say, oh, we don't know what happened to them in the historical record. We know how to point to who the white man is today. And so give me Daniel's 2 and 40, and then we'll move on.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 40.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth king shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
So this fourth kingdom was the Roman Empire. This is the vision of Daniel when you have the empires. This fourth kingdom was a kingdom. The Romans were a people that destroyed all nations. They were a brute. They were uncaring, and they come and destroy your city, destroy your town, ransack it, and take people away as prisoners. Everybody that wasn't killed, they would take you and put you into the Colosseum to fight wild beasts. The Romans were, like America. That's what the Romans were. America is an extension of Rome. Okay. Now I'm going to go into I don't want to forget about this, just to connect the dots. Now we know, like a lot of times people had a question of like, how are Europeans considered Edomites today? So I'm gonna go into a video. I'm gonna play a video real quick about the people called the YAHANNA, and this is going to blow your mind if you haven't heard about it before. No, I thought that I had it. Something like it. Let me find it. I must accidentally close the window or something. But... Oh, there we go. Let's make this big. Now, just to set it up, there's a people called the Yamnaya. Okay, this is a Indo-European people that researchers, when they do DNA, usually what they do is they do DNA tests on people that are alive today to try to figure out what happened back then or where did the ancestors come from. So with these people, they were starting to find bones, and they did DNA tests based on the inside of the bones, and found a trail of migration. And these people, the Yamnaya, this culture, these people are basically the progenitors, they carry that, what chromosome is the father's chromosome, the Y chromosome? They carry the chromosome of the father. And everybody in Europe, meaning European white people, have this same makeup. Okay, so let me play this.
300 to 2600 BCE on the Pontic-Caspian steppe is a pivotal archaeological and genetic link that unites all Indo-Europeans worldwide. The word Yamnaya derives from the Russian word for pit. The culture got its name from its distinctive kurgan style of burial. The Yamnaya are believed to have descended from earlier populations of the Russian steppe, notably the Sredny Stog and Kvalins cultures. These preceding cultures laid the groundwork for the Yamnaya, both in terms of lifestyle and genetic ancestry. The Yamnaya are often recognized as some of the earliest true pastoralists, relying heavily on herding cattle, sheep, and horses. However, evidence suggests that some Yamnaya groups, particularly those in the western regions closer to Ukraine, also practiced agriculture, blending pastoral and farming lifestyles. Genetically, the Yamnaya people represent an admixture of two distinct ancestral groups, Eastern hunter-gatherers and Caucasus hunter-gatherers. They had minor admixture from contacts with Copper Age farm.
It says they comprise of two main groups, Eastern hunter-gatherers and Caucasus hunter-gatherers. So Eastern, when they say that, what they're talking about is the area where the Edomite, where, you know, our land, where the land is of Asia Minor. The Caucasus is north of the land of Israel. It's like, you know, there's a way to go, but the point is that they are comprised of their heritage being from the where the area of Israel is, but they're all of the artifacts are found there. So they're sitting there, scientists are sitting there trying to find out, like trying to figure out, did they originate in the area of Europe or did they originate in the area of the Eastern Mediterranean area?
Farmer communities in Eastern Europe. In terms of genetics, the Yamnaya men carried predominantly the paternal haplogroup R1b M269, which originated from the Eastern hunter-gatherers, while their maternal lineages were more varied, with haplogroups such as U5 and H, reflecting a mixture of both Eastern hunter-gatherer and Caucasus hunter-gatherer ancestries. The spread of Yamnaya culture and genes into Europe marked the beginning of the Bronze Age in many regions and the dissemination of Indo-European languages. The Yamnaya's expansion into Europe also facilitated the spread of their genetic legacy, with modern populations in Western and Central Europe showing significant Yamnaya ancestry, particularly in paternal lineages. Yamnaya is the Bronze Age group that contributed the most to the genetics of modern Europeans.
You hear
For
that?
this video,
this group contributed most to the genetics of modern Europeans. When you talk about modern Europeans, you're talking about white people. You're talking about white Americans. You're talking about Australians. You're talking about Russians. You're talking about Ukrainians. This is their paternal ancestor. Now, another thing about this is that these people were pastoralists and agriculturists. And they got through there mainly migrated because of the advent of the wheel and domestication of horses, which we know that is something that happened in our land, domestication of horses. Now, let me get a little more. Now I'm going to screen share. Let me see. Y'all bear with me. We almost about here. Let's see. So, you know, I got to do this. I got to do my thing. Let me, first of all, let me take myself down. That's not what I want to do. Oh, right here. So, just to give you an idea, let me get a. So, this is right here. I got the green. Right here in this area will be the land of Israel. Remember, the Edomites would have been in this land too. Let me make sure everybody can see what I'm. They would have been in this land too. Now, they would have had to migrate to this area of the Caucasus, Yamnaya, right? This is the area where they migrated to. Then from there, they went into all of Europe that way. That is the migration pattern of these people. They are the ancestor, the parental ancestor of all modern Europeans, meaning all white people. We know that ancient Europeans would have been black, dark skin. They would have been a seed of Japhet. In fact, some of the bones they're finding, they're doing the test. It is brown skin with light eyes, blue or light brown eyes. Remember, I told you that the Greeks, they would have been a bronze-skinned people with light eyes. But the point, I think I made the point of the migration pattern of how the Edomites made it to Europe over a process of time. All right. I hope I demonstrated that. But this is the history of these people, and this is some of the images they have made to elaborate on what these people would have looked like. Just like Esau is described in the Bible. These are the progenitors, are the parental ancestors of modern Europeans. So that's that. So with that, let's see. Let me drop this. Wait, I thought I did. Oh, no, I'm tripping. Is it any questions in the room? See, this is how the things that Esau is searched out. This is how we have to search out the things that is Esau. We don't have to find out DNA and, you know, none of this stuff we have to really find out. But it's good to know that there is traces of how these people came to be in history, you know, physically, but through the prophecies and through what the Bible says in the last days, how where they would be at and who they are and the things they would do to God's chosen people, we know definitively who the children of Esau are. It's every white person on the planet Earth today. All right. With that, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up, and we will be back next week, and we will go in more depth in prophecy in the treatment of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians by Esau, so we can really pinpoint. And with that 3-point series, we'll really pinpoint who these people are. And we won't be able to, when somebody says, oh, Esau is the Arabs and Esau is gone. They died a long time ago. They won't be able to pull the wool over your eyes. You'll be able to let them know, like, nah, it's the white man today. Donald Trump is Esau. You know what I'm saying? Vladimir Putin is Esau. You know what I mean? These are the people who are the major players who are running the earth today. All right. So with that, Israel, shalom. Let's clap it up. Once again, I hope that this class was edifying. My aim is always to edify. We're in class to teach. And, you know, if it's something that, you know, I have questions on and I want to know and I find out, it's my duty to share with brothers and sisters. It's my duty. It's my, what is it? My pleasure to share it with brothers and sisters. All right. So with that, Israel, we'll see you next time, next week. And let me just give y'all shout outs, because I know a lot of times these type of classes could be a little slower when we're bringing out things. Kyle Maz Boff, Young Man Kev, always rocking with me. Black Dazzle, y'all always here. Quadash, my main man. Talaya, shout out to you, sis. Olivia Arnold, shout out to you, sis. You know, Malakma was in the house today. Shout out to you, brother. Sister Barathana was out here. Batamyad, Ban Yashikar, shout out to you, brother. Young Man Dominic, and shout out to you. With that, Israel, we'll see y'all. All right. Let's clap it up one more time. One more time.